Welcome back to the inverted wanderer. Today I'm going to lead us in a short tutorial for Adho Mukha Vrksasana, which is handstand. So before coming into this practice or this pose, you want to make sure that you are warmed up. So make sure you've flown through a few sun salutation A's or B's. Make sure that your arms and your upper back feels very warmed up, and you also want to make sure that you're working your core. So it requires a lot of upper body strength and a lot of core work. So I recommend you checking out one of my videos to get your core engaged, to get your shoulders turned on and open before you come into this practice. So for today's practice, I am going to be showing you how you can use a wall. This is currently how I do this practice, by using the aid of a wall and cue you through it. So Adho Mukha Vrksasana means handstand in Sanskrit. Some of the contraindications are pregnancy, uncontrolled high blood pressure, migraines, anybody that is suffering from wrist, elbow, shoulders, or neck injuries should probably hold off until they are fully healed before practicing in this pose. So when it comes to cueing, and specifically with the wall, there's two different ways that you'll see. One where my back is facing the wall, and the other where my back is facing nothing. And you want to make sure that when you're ready to have your back facing nothing, that it's open space like this, there's nothing in the way in case you fall over, you're not going to injure yourself. So first we'll start with my back facing up against the wall. So coming into a downward facing dog, make sure that your hands are shoulder distance apart, fingers are plugging in as if they're gripping like a rock climber. Okay, make sure that you're starting to push the ground away, so not sinking into it, and rather pushing the ground away. I'm going to walk my feet as close to my hands as I can. And this is going to start to turn on my upper body, so stacking my shoulders over my wrists. Now, if you're new to this, stay here to build the upper body strength. Otherwise, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and energetically point one foot up towards the sky. And we're going to do a control kick, and I want you to think about kicking up into the sky rather than back into the wall. So with that bottom leg, we'll go ahead and bend it, kick up. Maybe it takes a few times. And then know that you have the wall back behind you. Now, the tendency is to drop our hips to the wall. You want to press into your heels so that you can stack your hips over your shoulders. Pointing your toes up, you can start to cover your feet away from the wall, pressing down into your hands. And then when you're ready, lowering one foot, lowering the other. Always come down in a short Vrksasana, just to give your brain a moment to catch up. If you come out of it too quickly, you may get dizzy and faint, and we don't want that. So we'll go ahead and try it again, kicking up with the other foot. So what I'm doing is I am stacking my feet over my knees, over my hips, over my shoulders, over my head, my elbows, and my wrists. So the weight distribution should be shooting right down from the soles of my feet all the way down to my wrist. So one thing you want to practice on, or one thing that happens a lot, is that we stick out our chest like this. So our top abs or our lower rib cage, you really want to think about squeezing it in to make that flat back. It's hard, I still struggle with it, but at least we can struggle together, and one day we'll do it together. So coming back, coming close to the wall, coming into a downward facing dog, hands are shoulder distance apart, start to press down, grip your fingers, walk your feet as close to your hands, starting to stack your shoulders. So the gaze should be looking down at the ground or out in front of you. Avoid looking back behind you, as this may cause you to fall. So go ahead and bring one foot up towards the sky, energetically pointing it up, bending in the bottom knee, and then kicking up. Kicking a little bit more, until you got both feet up. So now knit your ribs in, stacking your body. Maybe you can slowly kind of push off the wall. And then we're ready, coming down. If you don't want to do a child's pose, you can simply just pause for a minute in that adult pose. Just giving your body some time. You can roll up into a standing position. So now we'll do Adho Mukha Vrksasana facing away. So meaning my back now is going to be facing away from the wall. So we're going to use the wall to climb up. So it's always good to start in that first one. And then once you have an idea of what a controlled kick is, you feel like you're not hitting the wall every time, you're actually coming to that equilibrium, that is when you want to start facing away, okay? So what we're going to do here is bringing our feet flat on the wall. This is about how far away you want to be. Everybody's body is different, so if you've got longer arms to your torso, then you'll figure it out. But what we're going to set up is we're going to set up at 90 degrees, okay? So upper body coming from the ground, at the hips, to the feet, to the wall to make that 90. See what it feels like to stack our body meat, stacking our hips over our shoulders, which is the hardest part to do. So, placing your hand right down in front of you, you're going to go ahead and curl up, right, like you're doing downward facing dog. And then you're going to press your feet into the ground and push your hips over your shoulders. So I'm not quite 90 degrees right there. Come out a little bit. So I'm about 90 right there. And then when you're ready, you can start by bringing one foot up. Maybe see if you can hover that toe off the wall. Always coming down. Whenever you need to. That's not an easy pose, especially when you're trying to get to it. So give yourself some grace if you need to come out of it. But we're going to do that again. Now you can choose to either stay at that 90. If you just want to see what it feels like to get your hips over, to build that upper body strength, to get over the fear of having nothing behind you. Otherwise, you can do like I said, you can sort of bring one foot up, maybe bring the other foot up, depending on where you are in your practice. So again, bringing our feet to touch the wall, bringing our hands in about the same place that they were last time. Already start to press your hands down, so hands are shoulder distance away, gripping into the ground, resting our arms away, curl our hips. When we're ready, go ahead and bring our legs to a 90 degrees, and then maybe do that leg ready. See if you can maybe kind of hover off of the wall. And then when we're ready, walking back down, pausing for a moment. And then pressing yourself up. So the next step from there would be, of course, trying to do a handstand with a controlled kick without anything behind you. So I will try to do it today. Like I said, this is still one for me in my practice. So I'm not perfect, but I show up every day and I try. And with inversions, that's really what you gotta do, just show up and try. So the next thing would be doing the controlled kick without the aid of the wall at all. So make sure you've got some distance. Make sure that there's nothing back behind you. So my back will be facing that way. So you kind of just want to make sure you're good on all sides. But coming into that downward facing dog, right? Our hands are shoulder distance apart, pressing down, gripping our fingers, locking our feet in so that we start to stack our shoulders over our wrists. And then we'll go ahead and point and bring one leg up. We'll do a controlled kick. And then when we're ready, coming back down, resting. So the biggest thing here, and at least I know for me, is that fear of falling over, and especially fear of falling over while teaching this. But you want to keep working on kicking a little bit harder to get yourself upright. So we'll try that one more time. You can practice whichever one that you liked, with the wall, without the wall. Let's go ahead and practice one more time. So coming into a downward facing dog, shoulders, our hands are shoulder distance apart. Lock our feet in, so we start to stack our shoulders over our wrists. Our gaze is down by our hands or out in front of us. Start to lift one leg energetically being pulled up from the ground, start to engage our core, then that bottom leg, control up, maybe we can stack, and maybe not, coming down to the brief child pose. In my case, catching my breath, and then coming back into a seated position. So the benefits of Adho Mukha Vrksasana, or handstand, is that it builds the body very proportionally, right? Because you are using your arms and your shoulders to support your upper body. You're using your core to stabilize your hips and your legs. It's also good at building strength in your shoulders, your back body, your upper arms as well. It's also an inverted process, so that means it'll help you with your breathing, fully exhaling and inhaling. So that's also great as well. So I really hope that you enjoyed this short tutorial on Adho Mukha Vrksasana. If you did, please like, share, drop me a comment down in the comment section. Otherwise, I'll see you next time on the inverted warm-up. Bye everyone!